Last week, I was asked to travel up to the Lee Valley to fish a water with a 50-pound common in it. Of course I said yes. I've been doing some work with a company called Aquamaintain, and the owner Ben had just taken on the lease for all of the Lee Valley waters. He wants me to shoot some short promo videos for the lakes, so here I am at the first one. After a quick look on the end of the wind, I bucketed a swim nearest where I'd seen fish, and set to work finding some spots with a bare lead.
He's joined me on Abbotts Lake on the Stansted Innings complex as part of the Lee Valley Park fisheries. I'm very lucky to be here. I've been asked to come up by Ben, who's the new leaseholder of all the lakes in this area, to do some promotional videos for him, but also he's allowed me to fish very kindly. I decided on the sort of northeast corner of the lake because there's a nice southwesterly blowing into here, and there's an out of bounds bay off to my right of the swim, and there's quite a few fish milling around there. It's not long until the fish spawn, I don't think, and they're grouping up, so I might as well go where the best concentration of the fish is. It's quite a big lake for me, this. I think it's 28 acres, so it's a lot different to the smaller lakes that I normally fish back home on the Isle of Wight. But I have found fish in this little small bay, and it's a little bit more what I'm used to, you know, fishing to margins and little overhangs and stuff like that. But I'm going to start getting the rods out now. I'm going to take you through my tactics and everything, talk to you a little bit more about why I'm here and what we're doing, and hopefully over the course of the next 2 nights that I've got here I'll be able to show you a fish from here as well. But the main priority for me is to film the little promotional video for these guys, but yeah, if I could get a fish as well, that'd be an absolute bonus. So yeah, I'll talk to you a bit later on once I'm all set up. I'll let you know a bit more about the tactics and what I'm doing, and yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. Right then, here we are. We're all set up, we've got 3 rods out fishing, and it's cooled down a little bit now. It's been absolutely baking hot today, probably the hottest day that I've been fishing this year, I would say. Must be over 20 degrees, and it's been you know, pretty horrible light for filming, so I've not really filmed very much today. It took me quite a long time to get the rods sorted and everything like that, so yeah, we're finally sort of settled in and comfortable. So yeah, I came over on the ferry this morning from the Isle of Wight. I was a little bit hungover, I have to admit. I went to a gig last night, so I had to get a really strong coffee on the ferry just to set me up for my my journey. It was sort of 2.5 hours, I think, drive once I got off the ferry up to the Lee Valley. And as I said earlier, we're at Stansted Innings on Abbotts Lake. It's a beautiful place, 28 acres. And it's really nice and peaceful, and there's some really stunning fish in here as well, up to about 50 pounds I believe, so quite an exciting place to be fishing. There's a 50-pound common in here which would be an absolute dream to catch, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to come to this lake first out of all the lakes that Ben has taken over and he wants me to film. You know, I thought I'd come here just before spawning. There's a good chance that common's going to be over 50 pounds and looking for some food, so that's what we're doing. We're sort of searching for a 50-pounder just before they spawn, and then obviously give them a rest after that. But yeah, it's a lovely place to be. We're just coming into the evening now. The sort of sun's gone behind the trees on the opposite side of me, and yeah, it's just nice. You know, all I can hear is the birds, and it's a beautiful place to be. So tactics-wise, it's quite a sort of a choddy, sort of weedy lake, really. The weed's not properly up yet, but as I was leading around, I was finding bits of weed and strands of weed pretty much everywhere. So I've gone in with pop-ups on all 3 rods. One of them is on a chod rig, which is quite unusual for me. I found some gravel. This is a left-hand rod. nice little bit of gravel, but just around it there's quite a lot of weed and stuff, so I thought I'd go with the chod rig just to make sure it's presented. And that's just a little pop-up with a scattering of boilies around it, just sort of fairly close in. I think I said earlier I'm fishing the mouth of a bit of a bay. It's a no fishing bay, and when we walked around you could see fish in there just sort of sunning themselves, and I figured they're going to come in and out, so I'm fishing the sort of mouth of the entrance to that bay, so hopefully if they come out tonight, or you know in the mornings and things like that, in and out of here, I can hopefully intercept them. So I'm fishing sort of the margins on either side of that bay to try and sort of catch a fish as it comes through. So my left-hand rod, as I said, there's a chod rig sort of off to my left-hand margin. My right-hand rod, that's on a helicopter, because again it was quite weedy there. So I've got a withy pool rig popped up on a helicopter rig, just to make sure that it can settle on that weed and not kind of fall down into it and the lead pulls it in. That's just on a yellow pop-up with a bit of particle over it. And then my middle rod is going out to the sort of far margin. Found a nice gravelly shelf on the margin there, and I figured if the fish kind of come along that margin before they go into that back bay, they're going to find that little bit of bait there. So I've just put that out, again with a yellow pop-up and a little bit of particle. I don't think the pop-up's too blatant really, and it's a small yellow amino ester one, so it kind of looks like a bit of maize or sweet corn or something, but it's just that little bit off the bottom, just to make sure that it's presented really. Well, good morning guys. It's an absolutely beautiful morning this morning. There's mist rising off the lake, and there's a lot of bird life, you know, which has been quite annoying through the night, I must admit. I struggled to sleep because I kept getting picked up by ducks, but it does make for a nice scenic venue and a nice vista to look out on over the lake this morning. I am sort of tucked away in a corner here, so you can't see the sort of full size of the lake, but I will get some shots to show you kind of what it looks like as well, because it is a stunning place. But yeah, nothing happened on the fish front, unfortunately, through the night. But I do think the corner where the fish are is more sort of daytime, really. I think they're going to come in and out. They probably went out in the night, and hopefully they'll be coming back in this morning as the sort of temperature rises. So I'm hoping that the fish are going to sort of creep along these margins and go in there and go over my bait. So got a chance, I think, in these early hours. It is only early still. It's you know, it's 5:45. Been up since about sort of 4:30, believe it or not. But it got light quite early, and there was a really nice dawn chorus. You know, the birds are very vocal at this time of year. I'm sure you can probably hear them now. And that kind of woke me up, and then, you know, as it was getting light, I thought I'd watch the water and see for any signs of fish. And I thought I had seen a couple of very subtle shows near my left-hand rod, but nothing's come of it as of yet, but it is still early, like I say. So last night, I'm very happy to say that one of the guys that I'm with, so there's Ben, who's the sort of leaseholder, and then his friend, who's also called Ben, has come with him on this session, and he managed a beautiful 32-pounder last night, really scaly, proper character fish with a real sort of sloping head, proper dinosaur of a fish, really old looking scaly one. And that was within sort of 2 or 3 hours of him getting his rods out, so he's made up. He was only doing an overnighter as well, and it's his first time here, so he obviously got his location right, and yeah, I'm sure he's going to be buzzing on his way to work this morning. So well done to Ben. Yeah, for me, nothing's actually happened yet, but I feel like I'm in a good area still. I've not seen anything anywhere else to kind of move on really either, so I'm sticking to my guns for now. It's early days, you know, I've only been fishing for one night, and it is my first night on a new water, so I've got to kind of stick it out and see what happens. But yeah, not a lot to report, unfortunately, for me so far. So yeah, that's where we're up to at the moment. I'm just going to have some breakfast. I've got some nice sausages, and yeah, we'll see what the day brings.
As the day wore on, it was clear the fish in my area weren't up for a feed, and as Ben had caught one the night before a couple of swims up, I decided to wind in and have a look. Moving swims would give me access to the island margin patrol route, and hopefully a good feeding area to nick a bite on my last night. It was a tricky cast with the overhanging trees, but I managed to settle on 3 spots and got the rods rocking. It was a tricky cast with the overhanging trees, but I managed to settle on 3 spots and got the rods rocking.
Right, here we are, all set up in the new swim. As you've seen there, I've just got my 3 rods out. My left hand one on a zig, just in the open water, kind of where I think the fish are going to cruise by when they come in through past the island. You know, just I've kind of drawn a line from the island margin out into open water, and there's some nice sort of gravelly shallow areas out there. There's a bit of a plateau apparently, so I've just got a really short zig. It's kind of 2.5 foot out in about 4 foot of water, and I'm hoping any fish that cruise through there are going to pick that up. Then my middle rod is just on a pop-up on my normal with the pool rig, and my right hand rod is just on my normal kind of amnesia D rig with a little wafter and a bag of broken boilies, and that's all I'm going to do tonight. I'm just trying to nick a bite for my last night on this stunning bit of water. It's been really tricky. Fish have been quite cagey. I was speaking to a couple of bailiffs a minute ago, and they said that it's been really hard this spring, and the fish aren't particularly getting caught very often, so I don't feel too bad. You know, it's my first time here, and even the regulars are struggling a bit, so yeah, it's a tricky one at the moment, but you know, I've got a night to go and I've got a new swim, so kind of a new lease of life and a new sort of optimism that maybe I'll get lucky on my last night. I've been seeing the fish, you know, the whole time I've been here. They've been cruising up and down in my last swim on the surface, so I was trying zigs today while it's been hot, and they're just sort of not touching it. And you know, what more can you do if they're not even taking a zig when they're up in the layers? You can't really surface fish because there's loads and loads of bird life on here. Tufties and coots and swans and geese and grebes and everything, so as soon as I start putting floaters out, they all get on that. So yeah, zig's kind of the only way to go, and that didn't pay off. So yeah, I moved the swims because fish were a bit cagey down in that corner. I think it was a bit of their sanctuary, you know, and they didn't feel confident picking up bait down there. But this area is more of a patrol route past the island as they come through. So yeah, I've got a fair chance. There was a fish caught out of the swim last night. So yeah, it's all to play for really. So yeah, I'm just going to have to sit and twiddle my thumbs, and hopefully something's going to happen. I'll keep you updated, and I'll chat to you just before it gets dark, and we'll keep everything crossed that tonight's the night. Right then, so just before it gets dark, I just thought I'd sort of update you with the current situation. So it's just started raining a little bit, and the wind's picked up, so it's really good conditions for the time of year. And I actually saw a fairly decent sized fish show just past the island. Must have been a 30-pounder, a really dark mirror. It showed sort of twice in the same spot. Unfortunately, you can't fish there because obviously it's past the island, it's not safe, but also they've got poles in the water to mark the sort of out of bounds areas and things like that, and you can't fish beyond them poles obviously because you get into all sorts of trouble with your line going around them, and I think they're out of bounds anyway, so you can't fish there. But it was nice to see a fish show kind of in my area, and a decent one as well, because all the ones I saw in the last swim were small fish, so it's quite exciting to be sort of in the vicinity of a fairly big fish, and hopefully where there's one there'll be a few more.
But yeah, the rods are out, as you saw earlier, and I've already had birds kind of trying to dive on them. But I'm fishing sort of rigs that reset themselves, so I'm fairly confident they'll still be presented. And it's not too weedy out there either, so I'm not worried about it getting picked up and dropped in the weed or anything like that. So yeah, I'm still confident. But yeah, the light is going now, so I won't be able to film very much more for you today. But hopefully I'll be talking to you in the night with a nice big fat carp, or even better, tomorrow morning when it's getting light will be absolutely lovely just before I leave. But we'll see, guys. I'll keep you updated, and if not, I'll speak to you in the morning. Right, good morning, guys. It's another beautiful day here down at Abbotts Lake. Unfortunately, we are still fishless. Yeah, it just wasn't the one really. I put the effort in, you know, tried to get on the fish, or at least a spot that I knew had produced a fish recently. They don't seem to be particularly feeding hard at the moment. I think they're just kind of grouping up and just cruising on the top really. So I imagine in the next week or so they're probably going to have a little spawn, and it's best to obviously just leave them to it. But yeah, sometimes you can pick off the fish that aren't grouping up, you know, they don't all go at the same time, and it seemed to be mostly the smaller ones that I was seeing on the surface. And you know, as Ben proved, he caught that lovely 32 pounder, which was just a lone fish probably just mooching around the island margin. And you know, I've gone for a similar spot to where he was, but not been lucky enough to pick up the fish, unfortunately. But you know, I've tried my best, and it's been lovely being down here. And you know, I'm really grateful to other Ben. There's two Bens that I came with. Grateful to the other Ben for having me down here. It's been a nice session, to be honest with you. It's nice to fish somewhere different for me. I'm used to all my smaller waters on the Isle of Wight, so yeah, this is like a proper lake for me. So I'll definitely be coming back at some point. And yeah, sort of on a mission to try and catch one from here now, and hopefully get into a few fish over the course of this year. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'll keep you posted as my sort of campaign on here progresses. Really, it's not going to be sort of usual campaign because I live on the Isle of Wight, so I can't come here every week. But as and when I can, I'll get a session in down here, and hope for the best, really. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching that, guys, and hopefully the sort of tactics that I've showed you give you a few pointers in your own fishing if you're new to carp fishing or whatever. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you would have done differently to try and catch a fish from here. I've never been here before, so you know, I've got on areas where I found fish and just fish tactics that I was confident to, and tried to find the clear spots in amongst the weed and stuff. And I don't think you can really do much more than that, you know, using bait and rigs that you're confident in, and then finding the fish and then getting good spots. It is basically the whole jigsaw of carp fishing, and I feel like I've done that and moved swims and found some good spots in this swim as well, but it still hasn't paid off for me, unfortunately. But that is carp fishing, and it's the reality of it. And I like to show you, you know, sessions where I don't catch as well as sessions where I do catch, because you know, it's not realistic to expect to catch on every single session. So there you go. That's how this session's gone. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.